Good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of the 411 Talk Zone Radio Show, Red Pill Edition. My name is Leon Jones, and today I am going to get into an educational topic. And you men should understand it because there are a number of men who are going to college. And I want to make sure if you do go to college that you're going to college for the right reason. Now, the title of this video that I'm going to call this video is The Fruits of College Indoctrination. Now, we've had generations and generations of people who have gone to college, and I'm not knocking college by any means. But colleges over the past 50 years have been getting more and more radical. In fact, if you are a student who doesn't believe in the feminist or the homosexual ideology or the left-wing ideology, your grade is going to suffer. So for you guys out there who are going to college, what I suggest you do is find a major that doesn't involve a lot of left-wing propaganda. Furthermore, I suggest you go to a community college because you're not going to have as many problems. Yes, you have some left-wing zealots at community colleges. However, you could take the courses online as well. I believe you could take them at a four-year institution online, but at a four-year institution, you have too many lifetime professors who have been indoctrinating students for a long time. And these professors do not understand the real world. In fact, when you communicate anything about the real world to them, they're going to be disagreeable and they might be hateful. And some of these professors have appeared on CNN, Fox News, and other news media outlets. Now, when I was talking to a former co-worker of mine, he was talking about going to college. And I live here in Indiana, and I simply told him, go to Ivy Tech. Ivy Tech is a good community college. If you are in a state that has a good community college, men should go to community colleges. This day and age, you do not need a four-year degree unless you're going to go for STEM and maybe some management information systems, accounting, something that involves numbers and technology. All the other majors you don't need. You can teach yourself English. You can teach yourself history. You can teach yourself anything you want by going to the library or checking on the internet because the sources are free. But a college education does not make you smart. You look at a lot of these millennials who are going to college, they come out dumber than they were when they went in. And this is why you cannot have a conversation with them because for the most part, when it comes to left-wing radical groups, the place where they go to actually recruit students is at a college campus. And many of your individuals who I call it the shadow government or lifetime government employees who are your professors are the ones who continue to make money off of indoctrinating students. Now, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. I agree with that. But as a man, you should honestly think about learning a trade because a trade involves working with your hands and some mind work. Most of the information that you are getting in some of these college courses is memorization. You don't really learn anything. I know when I went to college, I attended Temple University and other community colleges, but I was smart enough to take all of my gen ed requirements at a community college where the classes were small. The teachers were adjunct professors. And the reason why an adjunct professor is much better than a tenured professor is because an adjunct professor works part-time and they work in the field and they teach from a hands-on or an application background rather than a theoretical background. Now, when you go to college and you are a conservative and you want to have speaking engagements to speak to students, you have to have bodyguards and other types of security. Because one thing about left-wingers, when you don't agree with them, they become very violent. Not only can you not engage in any conversation with them, these individuals will call you all kinds of names, and the biggest one you hear is the word bigot. But a lot of individuals who go to college and they major in the social justice warrior type of majors, these individuals are like sheep. They don't know what feminism is. They don't know what fascism is. Many of them don't even know what socialism and communism is. They just hear the word, and if you hear something over and over and over and over again, you are going to believe it. And when it comes to young children between 18 and I'm going to say 35, these individuals don't have a clue on how the real world works. Because college only taught them how to hate. Now, I do blame everything on the millennial generation because they regurgitated all this material and they're now taking it to the forefront like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and they're utilizing it to try to draw other folks like me into her belief system. It doesn't work because I read enough books, I understand the real world, and I've been out here long enough to know that colleges don't teach anything about freedom. They simply indoctrinate you toward the left-wing point of view. Now, you always hear liberal versus conservative. I'm going to tell you this, there's no such thing as liberal. It's progressivism, which progressivism is Marxism, is socialism, is communism. When you deal with left-wing zealots, they like free speech as long as it's their speech. When it comes to any other speech, they want to do everything to silence it. Now, if you don't believe me, you look at YouTube, particularly on the black sector of YouTube. I've seen many black YouTubers come and go on this platform because they said things that are actually true, but the individuals on the other side did not like it. So they use the power of the corporation to silence these individuals. And what they did, they flagged their channels, and some of these individuals did come back, some didn't. But when it comes to a college education, as a man, it is not good for you because for the most part, you're going to deal with nothing but feminist propaganda, left-wing propaganda. And all you are going to do is be frustrated. And you have to understand that college costs a lot of money. Again, number of individuals who go to school come out dumber than they were before they went in, and they also come out with more debt. College is a cesspool of indoctrination. And if you don't believe me, you try going a semester yourself, and once you finish that semester, I guarantee some of you will be filled with the left-wing propaganda. College does not work in a balanced fashion. Again, I'm not knocking college, but as a man, learn a trade, learn HVAC, learn auto mechanics. Learn how to do anything but sit in a classroom and hear left-wingers all day. Now, I know a guy, he went to school and he took women's studies. And I said, what in the world did you take that bullcrap for? He said he was going to major in English. English is a useless major. See, all these majors in the social science department, what makes them useless is many people will get those degrees because they're easy. And those degrees keep them going to school longer and longer because they're not going to get a real job. Now, I'm not saying you don't need English. Everybody needs to learn to write. But when you utilize that for a major, well, you have so many people who are majoring in that same subject, the job prospects aren't plentiful. Now, as a man, it's nothing wrong with being interested in something that makes you happy, but you have to get something out of it. And I learned when I went to college, most of the lower gen ed requirements, I didn't get anything out of because I didn't need them. Now, what should really happen, they should offer lessons in civics. And the reason why I said civics should be offered again, because you have a number of people who go to college today, they don't even know the three branches of government. They don't even know who's in third or who's third in command if something happened to the president or the vice president. They don't understand local government. They don't understand state government. They don't understand anything. In fact, when you go to these colleges today, a lot of them really want to omit history. They want to rewrite the textbooks. And if you're not careful, these colleges will definitely misinform you of what the truth really is. There are a lot of things that I didn't know until I came here on YouTube and did a lot of research for myself. You see, when you deal with government, college is part of government, and I'm talking about your state universities or your public universities, and of course your public education. They want to control your thought process. They want to make you minions. They want to keep you ignorant. And in this country, the more ignorant people are, the more power the people in control will maintain. And the lefties in this country, what they want to do is utilize the college system to turn this country into a socialist nation. Now, over the past 60 years, we've had a number of individuals who have been on government assistance. Let's take college sports. The women's sports really don't generate anything for the school. So what happens is football and basketball that men play generate a lot. And that money is redistributed to women's sports, and that's known as Title IX. And the reason why I'm so hard on colleges is because colleges really create dependency on government. You see, if colleges weren't so expensive, students wouldn't have to take out a lot of financial aid. And you have a number of people who cannot pay their loans back. When it comes to these colleges, they are not suited for people who are informative about what's going on. And what I mean by that is you're not going to indoctrinate a person who does his own reading. Why? Because as a professor, you're going to end up failing that guy because that person is going to challenge you. And if you think about it, colleges basically encourage more females to attend their institutions because they're easier to brainwash than men. Now, as a man, you must weigh all of your options when it comes to getting an education. The public education on a high school, elementary, and a middle school level is also terrible because the unions run that. And the unions dictate the curriculums that should be administered in those institutions. Well, you have the same thing with colleges. Some of the professors are in unions, like AFSCME. They will dictate what kind of college curriculum students should have. And to me, a proper college curriculum would be health, home economics, personal finance, one English class, one math class, maybe a psychology class. If you're really going to be diverse about learning something, you let everybody come in as a freshman and learn how the real world works. See, a number of individuals who do graduate from college, they also have the failure to launch syndrome. And what that is individuals will get a degree in something that's not marketable, and they will go home and live under their folks' roof, and their folks tolerate that. A lot of these millennials have never grown up. And the reason why they've never grown up, because number one, parents always send their children to other sources like a college, like a public school, and those institutions are basically filling their children's head with a bunch of nonsense. And these parents, they're not very educated themselves. And when I say education, I'm talking about wisdom. College education is enough to get you a job. But if you look at all these companies out here, they're set up the same way as well. One person at the top, board of directors, a communist structure as well. But when it comes to guys going to school, I do not recommend men to go to a four-year institution unless you're going to major in STEM. This is why I always say, make sure your math skills are understood, because when you understand mathematics, your job prospects are going to be a lot better. A number of these individuals who are majoring in English, in history, and those other subjects, they weren't too bright in math, so they took the easy way out. And at the end of the day, they're the ones who are indoctrinated. These are individuals who you see working at the college campus when you enroll in college courses. And when you ask them a question when it comes to registering for classes, they don't know. Because they're taught how to be slaves of the system. And as a red pill man, you want to be on top of your game. I mean, education is big business. It's a corporation. Some of it is run by unions and government. And at the end of the day, don't be a slave to the system. Know what your potential is. And once you understand who you are as a person and what you want to do, you then can decide whether you should go to college or not. And don't let these individuals tell you that they're educated with a college degree. They're not educated. They're indoctrinated. Because the moment you utilize common sense, they're not going to understand it. Why? Because they spent their time dealing with college professors who taught them the wrong way of thinking. See, college professors, their whole mindset is indoctrinating as many students as possible. Because the more students they can push through the system, the easier it is for these students to come out into the real world and become slaves to the system. Because there are a lot of people today who are dependent on government for their sovereignty. And if you look at this country, we were much freer than we are now. Everything today, we must have some type of license or certificate for. Because the government, and it all starts in education, they want to tell us how to think. They want to tell us how we should feel. And for me, I'm not a big government guy. I think you need less government. Not saying you don't need any government, but government is only there to protect our rights. College does not have a diversity of thought. College only teaches you how to think one way. And if you continue to go to college, you have to ask yourself, are you learning anything? Or are you just giving your money away? And I always say this, as a man, you're going to be at a disadvantage when it comes to education. Now, I know there are statistics out there that there are more women graduating from college. That's true, because women get more money. They get more scholarship money, more financial aid money, and women accumulate more debt. So the best option for you guys when it comes to college, 4-year college, you major in STEM. You can go to a 2-year college, like a community college, major in a trade. And the reason why those options are viable, because those are areas that men utilize to build societies. You see, when you go to college, the indoctrination is anti-American. It's anti-male. It's anti-capitalism. It's anti-everything that built this country. But it's pro-tyranny, pro-communist. It's pro-socialist. It's pro-government. And if you look at that situation, you come out with a 4-year degree, but you're still not free. And at the end of the day, you have to decide, is college worth your time? See, that's a decision I can't make for you. But I'm only giving you my wise point of view because I've been to college and I majored in STEM. And as a man, college doesn't help you become wise. It's a cesspool of indoctrination. And too often, have individuals of both genders who get degrees and they cannot think. Everything is about some theory that a PhD is telling you to utilize. See, in the real world, it's not the theory, it's the application. And to be educated, you don't need a college. You need experience, common sense, and you need maturity. And you have all those three together, that's wisdom. Because you can utilize wisdom to teach the next generation that's coming into the forefront. But the way it looks now, with college, it's going to become worse. And if you don't understand what's going on in these institutions of higher learning, you're going to be one of those individuals who becomes indoctrinated with Marxism, communism, and socialism. And if you don't believe me, you look at a number of individuals who you see on television, who you talk to, who you see on social media every day, telling you how educated they are. When they're not educated, they're ignorant because they believe in the lie. College doesn't make you free. College just indoctrinates you with the left-wing point of view. And when you're indoctrinated with tyranny, you remain a slave on the plantation. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 411 Talk Zone Radio Show. You can catch me not only on YouTube, but you can catch me on Blog Talk Radio. And if you like what I just presented to you, please comment, share, and subscribe. Once again, my name is Leon Jones, and I'm out.